Hi there, this is Dave, and warm welcome. What we're going to cover here, the big brothers, if you will, of projects. Okay, first off, let's look at projects versus programs. Now, the act of managing a program management, is defined as the coordinated management of projects and change management activities in order to achieve beneficial change. So you can see immediately that a program consists of a basket, if you will, of projects. But just like projects, it's all about managing change in order to realize benefits. Projects within a program can be run in series or in parallel or both, and programs can therefore be continuous and ongoing. Now there's an important difference, if you will, in that you can have projects starting and finishing one after the other, or in parallel in some way, either directly in parallel, but more often than not, when a particular project is partway finished, then it might be right to start a new project. Also, you've probably all heard of programs that are continuous and ongoing. I suppose an example here would be where you have a continuous improvement program, usually sponsored by one of the most senior managers in your organization, your CEO, and it's all about making your organization more efficient, productive, and in effect getting it right first time. Okay, so we know what a project looks like. It has a series of activities. Here's a little snapshot of a Gantt chart, and these together create products or deliverables. It's these deliverables that are then handed over to the business as usual or operational management aspects of an organization for the benefits to be realized. So a program is a group of related projects and change management activities that together achieve beneficial change for an organization. You can see how the objectives of program management and the program itself are very tightly related. So what does a program look like? Well, as we know, it'll be several projects. I've just shown some overlap here on 4 projects as an example. All of the projects contribute to the same strategic objective. One of the programs for which I was the program manager was a program which changed our entire organization from a product focus to a service focus. And as you might imagine, the changes in that were quite large. Groups would disappear and form in different groups. Traditional departments would be broken apart and all given a customer focus. So although there were many projects being run, they were all reporting back into the program, all playing their part, if you will, to meet and contribute to the strategic directive, in the case I just mentioned, of changing the organization from a product focus to a service delivery focus. Each of the projects, of course, still had deliverables, and indeed the whole program would still have deliverables. And as you know, for both projects and programs, the objective here is to deliver change. And when that change has been delivered, this will lead to new outcomes. Now, an outcome means you've actually got the products and you're using them in a new way. And over a period of time, this will lead to the realization of benefits. From the work done in the previous module, we know that typically a standalone project does not hand over all of its deliverables until the end, and therefore in a project, the benefits that are realized are nearly always after the project is finished. Whereas with a program, because you have several different projects, many of these projects would quite naturally finish during the time frame of the program, and therefore the deliverables, or end products if you will be handed over to the operational area, and therefore it's highly likely, in fact quite normal, that some benefits will be realized during the life of the program. However, just like projects, once the entire program is complete, benefits will continue to come on stream and be realized. Okay, so let's look at the difference between projects and programs. Well, we covered this in the last module, so I'll quickly take you through this. Projects have a beginning and an end, a predefined output, tend to have shorter timescales in relationship to programs. Now, that's an important point here. Many people might define a program as a timescale which is always longer than a project. Well, that is typically so, but it's not always the case. So projects tend to have shorter timescales than programs. Everything, of course, is relative, just like anything in life, you can have small and large projects, and you can have small and large programs. A project, however, does have a clear development path, simply because we know what the output is. We know the functionality that needs to be met and the products and their criteria that need to be met. So projects tend to be well bounded with a clear scope. And the benefits are realised in business as usual, just the same, by the way, as programs. Let's now check them out. Unlike projects, programs tend to be vision driven. What this means is, at the very beginning of a program, a vision statement is created, and it articulates what the organisation will look like and behave like at some distant point in the future. So at the beginning of a program, it's very unlikely that we will know exactly what this new state looks like. It's merely a vision which is articulated early on and used as a benchmark, if you will, against which to manage the program. Therefore, a program has an unclear path. The example I like to use here, although perhaps a little sensitive, is finding a cure for a pernicious disease. At the beginning of the program, your vision is to either get rid of the disease entirely by finding a cure, or to minimise the amount of people that are infected by it. You have no idea how you're going to do that, because if you did, you could have projects within it, and you could clearly define exactly what the products would be in order to fix it. So you can see in this example, a medical one, if you will, programs have a vision of what the future will look like, but no clear path of how to get there. And by the same token, of course, therefore programs often have an uncertain timescale. Because of these first three aspects, if you will, programs are higher risk than projects. Not only because they may be bigger or that the impact of failing will be larger, but also because of the complexity of programs. You'll have more risks and often, therefore, higher risks because the probability will be less certain. You have complex relationships or interrelationships, if you will, between the projects, the activities, the staff, and so on and so forth. Programs will occur in a dynamic environment simply because we don't know what the path is. Therefore, projects will be added or modified or even taken away throughout the life of the program. As more is known about what the program must deliver, then that will automatically cause projects and directions to modify and to change. A program has both strategic and business as usual benefits. The business as usual benefits will be realised within one or more or many of the departments or groups, if you will, of the organisation involved. But strategic benefits will also occur. For example, if an organisation does find a cure for a pernicious disease and it's a for-profit organisation, then highly likely they will make more money. But also, of course, they'll be positioning themselves as an organisation that has the skill, knowledge, talent and wherewithal to actually help cure such diseases. And this would maybe allow them to enter different markets, just as an invented example. Now, as I've said previously, programs can have benefits occurring or being realised during their lifetime as well as after. Now, if a program has a program manager and projects have a project manager, and we know about senior management being involved, what does that path look like? Well, something like this. Here's you and I, the project manager, and the project manager, if this project formed part of a program, would of course and naturally report into the program manager. This has some benefits for the project manager, because if the project forms part of a program, it's highly likely the program manager will already know certain aspects of the project. Early on, when we're looking at the concept and definition, the program manager may be able to give the project manager a full definition, description, either in the form of a project brief or requirements, because the program manager will know the part that project plays within the program. Now, there's a senior sponsor, of course, and the program manager, of course, may report directly to the senior sponsor. There's another option, however, and that's that you have what's called a program board. Normally, the senior sponsor will head up that program board, and in which case the program manager reports into the program board rather than just to an individual. Just be aware, depending on the nature of programs, it may be a single individual or what's called a program board.